Now what we're going to do is we made some popcorn, and as you can see it wouldn't take very long here to make a 55-gallon drum full. We're going to go ahead and give ourselves roughly 2 sticks of butter, and again you're going to have to play with the exact amounts with this to ensure that you have the consistency that you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire this up now. We're going to heat this and then begin adding additional mixtures. As you can see, the butter is going to go ahead and start melting here rather quickly. The other reason for the heavy-duty gloves is this pan will be very, very hot. Once the butter gets to melt, and you got to watch it, make sure it doesn't burn. Once the butter is melted, the butter rather, we're going to go ahead and begin adding additional mixtures. This is when I'll begin using my paint stick. Most all the butter's getting close to being melted. Once it gets about more or less gone is when we want to go ahead and add our sugar. Again, that's about 2 cups. We're also going to add our water to mix in with that. And last but not least, we're going to add our sugar mix. And again, it's a 1-to-1 mixture. What I'm using here is basically 4 cups of sugar, 4 cups of cherry Kool-Aid. As you can see, it's cutting off, or steaming. And we're using about 2 sticks of butter, and we're using right about 2 cups of water, or 32 ounces of water. Excuse me, 4 cups of water. We're going to go ahead and mix this up. Now you have to keep a real close eye on this, because this is going to boil up very fast. And roughly right now we're looking at about 2 inches of the bottom of the burner. And now you want to keep stirring this. It's really gritty. You want to keep stirring it, and you want to make sure that everything melts and mixes really good. And with your candy thermometer, you want to get it up to somewhere around, I would say 200 degrees, maybe 250. And with the candy thermometer, being very careful, you can test that. It's a little bit easier in the on the stovetop method. I'm going to put my glove on because this is going to start overboiling here in a second. Now, as you can see, it's starting to boil up. It only takes 2 or 3 minutes. That's why you got to make sure that you're continually stirring. Keep your gloves on because this thing is pretty dang hot right now. We're reading right about 175 degrees, and this will get away from you pretty quick. We're going to let this get up to right around 200 for a couple of minutes. Continually stirring as much as we can. It's getting close to 200 degrees. Now, obviously because of video, but you could smell this really well right now. Really well. And you just want to keep stirring this so it don't burn. And okay. We're sitting at 200 degrees. Now we're going to go ahead and take it off the heat and let it cool. Okay, we shut the heat off. Now we're going to let that cool just a little bit. And what you have is a really good mixture, rather potent. Now we're going to go ahead and start mixing it with our popcorn. Okay, what we have here is we got our 2 Home Depot buckets. We're going to take this one, we don't need for now. And we're going to transfer our mixture to the other bucket without harming ourselves. Make sure you're wearing your goggles. As you can see, that's pretty hot. And now we're going to mix it with the popcorn. Okay, now to mix the popcorn. What we're going to do is we're going to take a normal thing of popcorn in a 5-gallon bucket. Now you can do this with a 55-gallon barrel. I don't see why you couldn't. Personally, I never have. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to mix in some of our liquid. Mix that in. Then of course, as you can see that in there, we're going to mix it around, letting it coat everything as much as possible. You really got to turn it around from the top. You'll learn to use your paint as a scoop and a stir. And what I'd like to do is get a little bit more in that. Now this is going to be hot and sticky. And I don't want to be redundant from my other video, but again, this is the time now that you can add a lot of things to it. You can add, so you can see it's good and red. You can add vanilla. You can add powdered honey. You can add other Kool-Aid. You can add more white sugar. You can add basically anything that you want to the mixture, and you have your own Kool-Aid impregnated bear bait. And we're going to go ahead and do some more. Just once again showing how easy this is. Now the best way to do this is actually 2 people. By doing this with 2 people, you can coat the popcorn, make a large batch of the candy, have the other guy or partner or wife or kid, friend, go ahead and continue popping the popcorn, and in absolute no time you will have all the popcorn that you could imagine. And if you can see in there, you will see that is good, red, and gooey. Now this is some of the popcorn that I had done by hand on the stovetop method. Pretty good, pretty covered. It's still gooey, and I had made this about 24 hours ago. So you could still take this and put additional sugar, Kool-Aid on it. All I did was put it in a bag and seal the bag. Now if you compare that to the stuff that I just did, you can see how much of a difference it is. And it actually coats it a little bit more. I'm doing a little bit more heavy. But again, great for bear bait. The popcorn holds its form. It's got your flavor that you want. Hopefully less protein than what the brown bears may be used to with the dog food. And it's all homemade in your garage with the deep fryer. Happy bear baiting, guys. As you can see, I'll try to focus this in as best I can. There's your end product. A little bit more concentrated, a little bit less. Everything's good and covered. Basically, off of the batch that I made, I not only had enough to go ahead and do what you see here, but I also wanted to let you know that you had the ability to store it. This right here is some that I did from the homebrew method on my stovetop about a week ago. And if you look at it, you can still see that it's liquid form. And if you needed to, there's a little bit of separation of butter on top, but not a lot. I'd say not even about a 1/16 of an inch. That's still liquefied, very easy to heat back up. Or you could take it with you and pour it around the bait on the site. So I recycle these Kool-Aid canisters and use them again. So basically wanted to show you what you could do. Very easy afternoon.